Welcome back to the channel. So, in this video, I will share all the details about the Chegg platform as well as Straive platform. So, both the platforms are same, but their hiring process is different. So, in this video, I will share how you can work on both the platform, how you can use the tools efficiently if you are a expert in chemistry or a CS or any other subject. So how you can use the tools, how you can submit the solution, how you can check the plagiarism if you are skipping, so which option you have to choose or etc. I will share all the details in this video. If you want to know how you can apply on Chegg platform as well as Strive, so in this description I shared my the Telegram channel, so please join it. And there I share all the information. Also you can DM me if you have any queries. Also, I'm sharing one important thing. Please don't share the money to anyone to clear the assessment without know, because in Telegram lot of scam is going on. So be careful. Also in Telegram it's going. So I have created a one WhatsApp channel. You can join also for a safe side. So it's all in my description. So please check out. So moving ahead and let's start the video. Start with the authoring guide. So first we will see the dashboard, and till last we will see the live authoring tool. This is the your live question answer dashboard. You can stop the video and read it properly, so where to start and where to stop. Okay, so it is the basic thing. I know you will get this. If you click on the start solving question, so if any question will come, so it will show the same interface. Okay, so if you get any question, so how to deal with. Okay, so this dashboard will show. So you will get the 10 minutes to decide you have to solve or you have to skip. Okay, so it's just basic things. So if you know the answer, you can start solving, and if you don't answer, you can skip the question. Also you can exit the dashboard. This is the as shown in the uh, boxes. You can read it also. Okay, now moving to the next. If next question will available, so it will show. Otherwise it will show wait for the few minutes or refresh the page, it will show. Okay, so if you know the answer, so you can go with the start solving. So after start solving, it will show the same interface solution window. So in this solution window, there is the first thing is sub subject and the topic. Okay, so now if you have to select, so this question is come from the with sub subject and the topic, you have to choose. Okay, there will the option. Okay, so here it is, the one thing is you can skip the question also after start solving if you don't know the answer. Okay, so it's just the basic thing, you have to select the sub subjects and the topic. Okay, now the solution is divided into three main steps. First one is tagging, and second is step by step method, and third one is solution. Okay, now is first one is tagging. So here I already told you have to select the first sub subject and topic, and next for the step by step solution, and make sure your tag is a question is correctly. Okay, so this is the calculus, and this is the sub subject, and this is the topic. Okay, and in step by steps you have to write all the steps, whatever you can add as a step 3 step 4 depend on the question. Okay, so promote the comprehensive students learning through the step by step solutions. So this is the step-by-step solution you can use in a editor tool. I will tell you in the next section in live question answering how you can use all the tools. Okay.
Now the expert comes in the final solution block. In the final solution block, the expert will be providing a sentence referring to the step number where the graph is provided. For example, the expert will provide a statement like, "The graph of bicycles exists where is shown in step number." Only this statement needs to be provided in the final solution block. There is no need to redraw the graph again in the final solution. I am seeing a redraw. Once it is provided in the step-by-step solution, Then there is no need to redraw the graph table. General entries again in the solution. This is the button preview of your solution. By clicking on this button, we can see how our solution is looking towards you. We have to check whether it is complete, whether it is looking good, whether it is clear, or if the solution is completed. Everything is provided. Then click on Submit Your Solutions. When you click on Submit Your Solution, a dialog box will open up. Check My Structure. In this Check My Structure, the portal will check your solution on the basis of 6 parameters. It will provide you some points out of 70, and they will provide you the alignment in persons. You have to maintain your alignment to 100%, please. Sorry. Your solution will not submit if your alignment is less than 75%. Try to perhaps achieve 100% alignment. It is not very difficult in some rare cases. Our alignment in withdraw. But it will not affect her. Let's quickly see what the points are. The first point says we have to provide at least 2 steps. So if we are following the guidelines by providing a general introduction with step number 1, start solving your SO from step number 2, then we can easily attain 10 points in the first cent require editor tools. So we have the tools on the portal. We have to use the editor tools whenever and wherever they are required. We have to provide a minimum of 10 words in each step. We have to use the explanation rock that I have mentioned for the September one only if we are able to draw the image using the portal tools. So we have to use the tools only. We should not add the images from the outside sources. Second, in the final solution block, we have to add minimum points. So if we are following all these 6 points, we will be having 70 out of 70 points and our alignment score will be 100%. If your alignment score is not 100% and you feel you can do some improvement, then click on Improve and use Editor Tools. If you feel your alignment is 100% and you are able to submit your solution, it is good to submit. Then click on Continue with My Submission. When you click on Continue with My Submission, your solution will get saved. I hope I made it clear. Now let's discuss how to attempt different kinds of questions. So if we have multiple choice questions mean a question is given and the options for the answers are. In these types of questions, we have to provide the explanation of both correct and incorrect answers. We have to mention which option is correct, why that option is correct. Then we have to mention which option is incorrect and why that option is incorrect. So we have to mention the explanation for both correct and incorrect options. If we have a completely calculation-based question, not an arithmetic question, then in that case, there is no need to provide explanations for the incorrect answers. Let me demonstrate this to you. By giving some examples, let's see which of the following statements best describes the relationship. This is not a calculation-based question. This is a curricular question. Provide the explanation for. If you are getting a question which is not in English language, then we have to skip that question. We have to mark the question as incomplete. The question language is not clear. We have to mark the question as incorrect. As we can see in the third image, this is a different language question. Either if you are able to translate it or if you are able to understand it, then since it is non-English question, we have to skip the question and mark it as incomplete. Sometimes we get the language version, but with that, we get the translation of the other language in English. Like the other language question is provided, but its English translation is provided. For that kind of questions, there is no need to skip the question. There is no need to mark the question as incomplete. We can offer that kind of questions. Now let's see how we are going to do with the multiple parts, or multiples apart. The post student has posted a question in which we have multiple questions. Posting we have multiple questions at that image. Then we have to solve all the questions unless the student has specifically asked for any particular question or any particular support. If the student has asked for any particular question or any particular sub, then in that case we can solve that particular question or that particular part. If no clear instructions are given, then we have to solve all the questions and all the subparts. When I say clear, I mean a clear line. For example, solve question number 2 only. I need your help with only that. I am stuck with problem number 1. Please help me with that. In that kind of cases alone we have to solve that particular question. But otherwise we have to solve all. Yes, all the subparts in a given time. That means in 3 hours. That means your skip is genuine and you have to escape. You won't have a choice in these kinds of cases. That your skips are genuine, that no one will question you, no one will question your expertise. If we are able to solve, suppose only 2 or 3 subparts are given, or 2 questions are given if we are unable to solve but still you have a skip. Then in that case alone, you will be asked why you have stayed. Otherwise, no questions will be asked if it isn't genuine. Now let's discuss these questions. How we are going to skip the questions. What are the reasons for that? Enough I gained. But the question is, as I mentioned, when you click on skip a question, our dialog box will appear. It will ask you why you are skipping the question. The first reason is that I can solve the question, but the question is difficult. If the question is difficult for you, then click on this button. Clicking on submit question will get you skipped and the next version will come on the window. One single question is posted, but it is difficult to solve. We are not able to solve the question in 3 hours. Then skip the question and mark it as has too many subparts. So the question is has too many subparts. If the student has posted multiple subcards and we are not able to solve all these subparts, then we have to mention it has too many subparts. Select this reason for clicking on submit. The question will get skipped for having too many subparts and the next question will appear on the window. If the student has posted an image which has multiple questions and we are not able to solve all the questions, so we are skipping such questions and we are noting them. It has multiple questions. We have to select these 3 reasons by analyzing the question whether we are able to solve them or not. If we are able to solve them in time, then please go ahead and solve it. If we are not able to solve them in that case, then skip the equation and select any 3 reasons for that. This is difficult reason. These reason codes need to be selected only in the case of extreme cases. Only in the extreme cases, suppose you have got a question and you have a little bit of idea about the topic of the question. You are not very sure about the solution, whether how we have to solve it. Then take your time, do some research about it. Then solve the question. We can do the research. We can solve the question by doing some research on the topic or the question. If we are able to solve the question by doing some research and by doing some thirds about the question in the topic, then please try to solve that question. Do not select the season code again and again as the citizen code puts a question mark on your subject in school. How are you able to solve it? How much are you good in your subject? If you are skipping all the questions, it is difficult and it will raise a question on your expertise. So if we are getting some difficult questions, please select them and go ahead and search and then try to solve them. Even if it is an extreme case, we are not able to sort and select this reason code and seek the li. Second says, I cannot solve the question because the question is in a club. It wouldn't has posted a question and the question image is so clear that we are not able to read any content from it. Then we are skipping the question and we are marking the question as question is incomplete. If you feel the question is having some missing parts or missing portions and we are not able to solve the question because of missing portions, then we are skipping that question and not marking it as question is incomplete. When we select questions as incomplete, our list appears. We have 6 choices on the list. We have to select the correct choice for the question and then we have to play on some of the 6 choices. Are these images not clear? Diagram is not clear. Equation has missing parts. Ask is not clear. Question has missing parts and the languages. If we mark the question as incomplete, then we have to select one option on these choices and then we have to click on submit. The question will get skipped for being incomplete. Next, in external to request, if a student has posted a question and to solve the question, you are required to use a tool outside the portal. Suppose a student has posted a question which is asking him to use the mathematical, which is not our portal. So we have to skip that question and mark external. Tools are required sometimes in mathematics or maybe in other subjects you may get. Use demos for use. So we know demos and GeoGebra are free for all, like they are open tools. So if open tools are mentioned in the question, then for that we can solve the question. But instead of using GeoGebra or Desmos, try to use the drawing tools or the graphing tools that we have. If suppose a student has posted a question and it is asking you rather on the Desmos that GeoGebra is the open tool. But instead of using GeoGebra, try to use our internal tool, the tool on the Desmos and then graph. It is only free for open tools. Otherwise, if any paid tool or any other thing is mentioned in the question to use, then skip the question and mark external tools next. This is not your subject question. If you are a chemistry expert and you have got a biology question, then we are not able to solve the biology question. We have to skip the question, one not belonging to our subject. In that case, the reason for. Here instead of calculus, you will be getting your subject like not chemistry. We have to select this. When we click on this, the list will appear. In that list, we have the name of other subjects. We have to select the correct subject for that question. If the question belongs to biology, we have to select biology from that list. And then we have to skip the list. The next reason for. I don't know the solution. I think this is very much clear from its name. If you don't know about the solution, then select. The questioner violates authoring guidelines. So this reason code is important to understand. This reason code is associated with the honor code, the offering guidelines. We have to strictly follow this reason code. If any question is violating the honor code and we have not skipped that question, we have authored that question. If there are multiple cases, your IDs will be removed sometime. Even if in 1 or 2 instances there are, then your IDs will be revoked. Your expert privileges will be revoked. So let's understand the honor code. First, we have the 5 reason codes here. Points, exam text, quests, copyright required or spam. We are going to discuss all the codes in detail. As an expert, we help the students with the toughest questions, and in doing so we must not participate in aiding academic dishonesty. We must adhere to the checkboard. Any violation in the checkboard will result in the revocation of the expert privileges. The first reason is exam tests. The student has posted a question in the question award like final exam tests mentioned without any date with the current academic year date or with a future academic year date. Then we have to skip the question and mark the question as violating authoring guidelines. Exam test questions. Let me repeat. In what place we are going to escape? We are going to skip if we have a word final exam test without any date, with current academic year date, or with a future academic year date. Then in this case, we are going to skip the question. My exam test question if a student has posted a question in which any word like exam, final exam test, or request is mentioned. A previous academic year date is mentioned. Then in that case, there is no need to skip. We can know if a word like practice sample or review is given along with this tag. Then there is no need to skip. We can author the question. The second reason is requires laptop. So if suppose a student has posted a question, and to solve the question to obtain its answer, the expert needs to perform any experiment or perform any activity. Then we are sticking such questions, and the question violating working guidelines requires lab. Let me repeat this. To solve the question, if an expert has to perform any activity or experiment, then we have to skip the question and mark it as requiring lab. Next is copyright or externally. If the student has posted a question in which the name of some university, institute or some other portal, other website, any other company name, logos are present, any book name is present, copyright symbol is there, or any author name, publisher name, professor name, if any of these kinds of things are present, then we have to skip that question. We have to mark it as copyright content. The question is what the marketing guideline is in the first image. As you can see, the university watermark is present. So we are skipping the question, and we have to mark that question as violating authoring guidelines. Copyright. In the second image, we can see the copyright symbol is there. Then we are definitely going to skip, even if the copyright symbol is not there. Then John Wiley and Sons. All rights are reserved. is given, then it means it is copyright. If the copyright symbol is given clearly, it means it is copyright. Even if both of these are not present, just John Wiley and Sons, and this year is present. That means it is a book name or any publisher name. Then we have to skip the question, and we have to mark it as having copyright. Write external. URL of a website or a whole is present. Then we have to skip the question, and we have to mark the question as violating authoring guidelines. In the first image, the URL of asub.com is present, so we are skipping the history. In the second image, amazon.com was what it is present. So we are skipping the question, and we are marking the question as violating authoring guidelines. Next is the proctored exam. So first, let's learn. What is the proctored exam? It is an online-based exam, and an expert takes this exam on their computers or on their laptops while taking this exam. A proctoring software works for us. The proctoring software identifies the candidate and checks the computer screen activity or the activities on the screen of the candidate. Whatever the candidate is doing, the proctoring software will be capturing their computer activities. How we can check whether the question belongs to doctor's exam or not? How we come to know if the question belongs to the proctored exam? Then definitely, the symbol or the name mentioning that the proctoring software is working will be mentioned. For example, Proctorio is sharing your screen and Analog is sharing your screen, requiring responders, lockdown browser. Proctor, you are sharing your screen. If these kinds of sentences are present or the blocks are present, then it means the question belongs to the proctored exam. If the question belongs to the proctored exam and we are getting such kinds of questions, we have to skip the question and we have to mark the question as spam for the proctored exam question. We are skipping the question and we are marking them as spam. Next is the points marksheet page. The reason for points marksheet raises similarly to the exam test in points. If we are getting a question in which a word like points, marks, and grades is mentioned along with that, if this no data is mentioned, or the current academic year date is mentioned, or the future academic year, then we have to skip the question and we have to mark the question as violating watering guideline points marking. Let me repeat this. Points marking reads the word is present, no data is present, current data is present, all future data is present. And we have to skip the question this time. Questions. We have other criteria for it. If the question is asking the expert to provide their personal inputs, their personal opinions, their personal thoughts, then we have to skip the question and we have to mark it as spam if the expert. Sorry, if the student has posted a question to write an essay, then we have to skip the question mark spam. The student has posted a question and a word limit is mentioned like answer meaning 200 words. Then we have to skip the question and we have to mark as spam. In image number 1 we can see 10 points. 10 points are mentioned. So we are going to skip the question and we are marking them as points. Master Gris, give me your own example in the second image. Give your own example as mentioned. So we are skipping the question and we are marking. The question is in the third image, you can see as a topic is mentioned. So we are skipping the question and we are marking the test. Let's quickly go through the points of the authoring guides or the COR code. These are the summaries of the points that we have discussed. If we have the tag saved to solved, the tag means the question is verified on the phone call. It is not violating authoring guidelines. Let me repeat this. This tag, saved to solved, tag means the question is verified and it is not violating authoring guidelines. If you are seeing this tag, then please do not skip the question for violating authoring guidelines. We are free to solve that question. The question is verified. Do not skip the question for violating authoring guidelines. We can attempt it. If the word like assignment, experiment, or lab is present without any points, then we can attempt it. If points are mentioned with the previous CR, then we can attempt it. Exam review for review or test review. As I mentioned in the starting review, word is present, so we can attempt it. You need to skip the question. If graded assignments or assessments are given and the due date has passed, then we can author that question. There is no need to skip if logos of laptops are mobile companies. As I mentioned, the company name and logo comes in the copyrighted. But if the logo or the name of the laptop or the mobile company is present, then there is no need to skip the question. We can offer it. The name or the logo laptop and mobile company does not come in the copyright issue. Similarly, the logo or the bottom half of this scanning the sometimes if the student takes the image from or takes the PDF from CAM scanners. So the logos are Drive. There is no need to skip the question and mark them as copyright. The bottom mark or the logo of the scanning as does not comes under copyright issue. There is no need to skip. They can author practice tests. Practice quest practice example sample TAS sample quest sample practice or sample cues are given with a TE exam test in quest. Then we can observe. There is no need to spring fall or FBO is given with a previous date. Then we can solve it. Exam test questions mentioned with the past academic year. Then we can solve it. There is no need to SK if terms like practice assessment assessments from the study guides is mentioned, then there is no need to skip. We can offer it homework, assignment, experiment, all lab with the points without any dates with current academic year date or with the future academic year date is present. Then we have to skip the question if exam test quals. With the current future or no dates is present, we are skipping the question if coins mark grades are present with current future or no dates. Then we are skipping the question. If graded assignment or assessment is present and the due date is the current or the future date, then we are skipping the question. If the UDL is present even if it is partially visible, then we are skipping the question. If the company name, LU, copyright symbol, external reference to book or website is present, we are skipping the question. The Spring Follower app is present with or without any points with current, future, or no dates. Then we are skipping the question. Take home exam, take home test, take who is present with the current or future dates? Then we are skipping the question. If specific instructions are given like no take, outside help, then we are skipping the question. We are marking it as violating authoring guidelines if unethical intent like requires as staffing. If these kinds of things are given, we are keeping the question. I want to mention this. Non-educational and non-academic questions are given, or if the weight questions are given or the blank screen is given. When we are marking, the question is incomplete. The ask of the question is not clear. For example, how can I get into a Princeton University? This is not an educational question. So this is a non-educational question. We are skipping the question and we are knocking it as incomplete. Same goes with the blank verses. Now you can see in this question 1 point is mentioned and saved to solve tag is mentioned. Now you can see in this question 1 point is mentioned and saved to solve tag is mentioned. Do not distribute wrong solutions intentionally. Your language should be easy to understand. Do not submit hard or ineligible solutions. Use only English language. Use simple sentences so that a student can easily understand your answer. Do not use the chat wins. Do not use the short ones. Do not post any off-site requests. Do not paste the question again on the solution window. These don't solve blank or incomplete questions. Even if one value is missing, like the value of A is missing, and you feel we can solve it for some general value and the student can get the answer. No, we have to skip such questions. Even if the smallest value is missing, please skip the question. How? That is incomplete. Do not solve such questions. Gism. I think we are all familiar with this word. Copying the content fully or partially will be considered as plagiarism. We have a zero-tolerance policy for plagiarism. If any ID is providing a plagiarized solution, then their expert privileges will be revoked. Do not copy-paste the solution from any external source from Chegg.com. Do not properly page the photos, images, for any work which is not yours. Do not paste the links of the external sources' websites, clouds, as a part of your solution. Do not take any other person's work, even after giving them the script. And there's one more thing. Sometimes what happens is we get a tough question, and after some time we get the same question again. Do not provide the exact solution again. Instead of that, believe me, your solution. Change the step number, change some calculation, and it's possible to change the method of the solution every time when we are submitting the solution. Our solution should be unique.